Hey, good morning.
Hey, is it morning? No, it's actually here in California. It's now afternoon.
It is. It's 12:30 right now. So
30.
just finished up lunch and
Right.
it's time to talk.
Coming on a little bit a little bit later than our usual weekly live, but man, if you watched last week's live that we did, you guys out there,
We kind of poked the bear, didn't we?
we really poked the bear. We didn't think we were going to poke the bear, but the bear was definitely poked.
Yeah,
And
it
if
gets
you have
very
no
personal.
idea what we're talking about. We're talking about how AI. We said we quit was our title on our live. Said we quit photography, and we really didn't. We're not quitting photography, but we were quitting arguing with people about AI, right?
Yes.
Because we both maybe are a little different. Well, we actually realized we're a lot different than a lot of the photographers out there. Because we were saying, hey, we actually really like AI and use it a lot. But before we get into all that
Correct. Yeah,
conversation,
because we can go, there's a lot of rabbit holes to
yes, a
go down.
lot.
So
We want to also tell you about we've got three different workshops
yeah,
coming
between
up.
now and the end of the year, three
Yeah.
opportunities come
So
out and
these will be the last three opportunities
yep,
for this year of 2024. Can you believe that 2024 is over?
it's not so fast.
It's crazy. It's
Yep.
crazy. In fact, I was just looking at the calendar thinking, what did we do, back in 2020, 2019? Like time is flying. I feel like an old man. I remember the days when we used to do
So
stuff.
get this. This is what happens every year, right? Thanksgiving comes along. We either go somewhere or family comes or gets together with family. And then it's Black Friday, and most of us go, I'm staying home because it's crazy out there. Or maybe you're one that goes out, you love Black Friday. But what happens on the weekend, Saturday? Everybody's gone. You've had this fun time, but you're kind of, it's a letdown. It's like,
Yep.
what do I do now? So on the 30th, like what, 2 days after
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
it's gonna be the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yep. You're going to have an opportunity to do a class with us that's going to be a speed light class. So this is kind of just a stripped down, right? It's I don't even know how to say this, like not run and gun, but just minimal gear.
Yeah.
And there's something amazing about just getting out and creating portraits with minimal gear.
So this all came about, right? Because you and I, we love lighting, right? I mean, we're Westcott top pros. We love lighting. It's just something that's kind of part of our whole
Mhm.
photography nature. But we don't like to carry a lot of stuff, right? Just
No,
'cause
yeah.
sometimes you're outside and you're in these urban areas where you just don't want to carry around a lot of gear. And we started using, again, our speed lights, right?
Yeah, and
And
it's kind of, we've gotten into this. You and I, for some reason, a lot of people talk about wedding season, June, the June wedding. For you and I, it's fall weddings, it seems
yep,
like.
yep.
So the speed lights start coming out because those are incredible to use, an incredible tool to use for a wedding. And we want to pass on some of the things we've learned with using a speed light.
So what did you say to me the other day? You said, yeah, man, I was using my speed light the other day. I can't believe how good this stuff looks with my
Uh-huh.
speed light.
Yeah, anytime I do event stuff, that thing's going out. Yeah, I love using my speed light. So that's
So
on the 30th, and
that's
that's in
gonna be
the
on the
morning.
30th. It's called Speedlight Sacramento because we're doing it in Sacramento and it's gonna be an outdoor kind of rain or shine event. Like we're gonna go out and we're gonna take amazing pictures with
One
speed
of our
lights.
favorite, what we call veteran models, somebody we've worked with quite a bit that can
Yep,
pull off numbers of different looks. It's going to go
totally.
out with us. It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be a great day. And so very economically priced. It's just gonna be a good day. So if you're not doing anything the Saturday after Thanksgiving, come on out. And if you're in the local in your Northern California area, come to Sacramento and we'll have fun for a few hours playing around with lighting and speed lights and taking
Yep.
some great pictures.
And then up next, after that, what's the date on that?
December
December
6th, Friday,
6th.
December 6th.
So we've been doing a series we're calling our next steps. And we started with the basics on our last class where we like taught people, f-stop controls light falling on the subject, your shutter speed controls the ambient light, some of those basics things that once you get it down, it gets really easy.
Yeah, the five components that you
It
need to.
is. But this one, class number two, you don't have to come to class number one. It's not like you have to go in a series. They're better when you go into a series because you're primed and ready. But the number one question people ask once they learn how to use their flash, they usually say, "How do I get started?" Like, not like, how do I find clients? They're like, okay, I've got somebody in front of me. How do I start? How do I know where to put my light? How far away to put my light? What modifier to use? How to tell them to stand? Which way should they turn? All those questions.
Yep.
That's the next step. And that's
Yeah.
why it's called Next Steps
That one's actually then that one's going to be called step up, right? So you're
or
going to step
Step
up
Up.
your game
Yeah.
from taking that next step. So we're totally excited about that. That one's an indoor classroom style, interactive classroom style class. So we're going to be showing you what it takes to put all those steps together.
Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
be good. And then we
It's gonna be a
just
great class.
yeah,
That last class was awesome. So
it was super cool. There's a lot of light bulb moments. So can't wait for that. And then we've got December 12th, Thursday, December 12th. We got one of our
we're excited because it's a return, is what it is for us.
yes. So we're headed back to the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's called Winter Light Portraits by the Bay.
Yeah.
So we're going to take advantage of, we get some incredible light here in California in wintertime. And this is a rain or shine workshop. We're providing transportation from Sacramento down to the Bay Area. And we're going to spend the day taking amazing portraits using small light again, natural light, all kinds of good stuff. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. A lot of people I don't think know that you are a Bay Area native, right? You grew up there in Pacifica and you actually lived in the city, you and your wife, when you guys
Yep.
first were married. And so one thing people have to understand is that Steve knows all the little nooks and crannies in San Francisco, where it's safe, where it's not safe. And you and I, we kind of had the same epiphany at the same time. Anybody who watches Peter Santinello, what a great channel to watch, right?
Yep.
And he was in San Francisco last week, or I don't know when he filmed it. That's when he released it. And it was more like, how's San Francisco doing? San Francisco's starting to do much better. That's why we're excited to go back.
Yeah, for
So
sure, for sure. And like Mark said, I know San Francisco like the back of my hand.
you do.
I tell you where to go, why not to go, where you're going to be safe, how to handle your equipment, what to do.
Mhm.
So
How to
it's
order
gonna be a
it
great
ready
day.
the right way.
That one is limited to the amount of attendees, though. It's limited to basically 4 attendees
Yes.
coming. Small on purpose, but also small because we're going to transport you there. So come out December 12th, Thursday. If you're not doing anything that day,
Yep.
join
And
us.
take advantage of that winter light, man.
Yeah.
If people they stay indoors in the winter, and that's the time to get out, especially in California, right? We get
For sure.
incredible. The sun is lower, so we get better angles of the
Oh, the
sun.
light's incredible.
Clouds,
The winter light.
the light's just different.
Love
So
it. So yeah, so getting back to poking the bear about AI, and if you're just joining this little talk here, we did a live last week talking about AI and how much Mark and I are actually really enjoying it and how much we think it's changing photography for the better in a lot of ways. I think
some areas, yes,
there's a lot of bad parts that could be thought about, but wow, we got a lot of comments
we did.
video and a
So
lot of people contacting us directly
yeah,
saying, you guys are out of your mind.
you don't know what you're talking about. You're not really photographers.
Yeah, I mean it was some weird, and you always get weird comments when you're out there in the public, but these were kind of cutting, and it
I
actually
realized they were
caused
very
us to
personal.
the very first one that came through. I was talking to you, Mark, after we got in, like, wow, are we way off base? And I don't think so. And I actually had a really great conversation with one of the people that watched the video and commented directly to me.
Mhm.
Um, where we went back and forth about 10 times. I often don't go back and forth on comments, right? Because
That kind, yeah.
yeah, it's your opinion, and some of them I just don't care if you feel that way. But this one kind of stung a little bit, actually caused my brain to reverse and think, okay, what did we say? Was it bad? But after the whole thing, it really came down to, I think he was just scared of like losing his niche in his career.
Yeah, and he's a great photographer,
Great
and
photographer.
he's got doing lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And
So,
that
with
area
that, it's
he's
like
working in, there is a danger to it in with
there
A.
is. Yeah, and I can understand where a lot of these people are coming from, is because there's a fear out there that, wow, what I hung my whole hat on as far as my career is disappearing before my eyes.
Correct. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff in commercial photography in particular that can be done through AI that eliminates the need for you and I, right, out there.
Yeah. But for us, for our general audience, it's a lot of us that are doing it either for fun,
Yep.
but or they're like us, they're doing weddings, senior portraits, engagements, family shoots. there's value in using AI for extending backgrounds, taking something out at the park,
Yeah.
taking the fire hydrant out because you couldn't turn the way you wanted to because the sun wasn't where you needed it to be at the time, or the
Mhm.
family said it's got to be in grandma's backyard, and you're like, yeah, but the diving board is going to be in your shot. Now with AI, it's an easy remove, those kind of things. So
Totally.
I totally get it because when it first came out, I was very like, Steve, I don't know. But again, I was using it only to add stuff in,
Mhm.
like, but yeah,
And that's where I think AI gets pretty sketchy, is it, it does a great job at it, but putting things back into a picture or things that weren't there originally, even changing a background, changing a sky, I can see where that's like, I don't know.
yeah,
If you're doing it as art,
mm,
sweet, that's your art. I've got nothing to say about that. But if
correct.
you're pawning it off as the original photograph,
Yeah,
that's ethically wrong. But you can create art any way you want. That's why you take painting, right? You've got someone like Picasso versus someone like Rembrandt. Wow, talk about different styles, right? I'm sure both of them would say, "You're wrong. No, you're wrong. You're wrong."
yep,
Totally different. But same thing in photography, just stylistic.
yep. No, I again, like this last week, I've had a number of clients, and one of the clients I had a Great Dane. They wanted pictures with their brand new Great Dane for their Christmas card, family pictures, and there was just things involved, right? He'd always had his treat bag to get the dog to do what he wanted to do, and a lot of times he'd throw it down, and it wouldn't be totally out of the shot. And rather than go, oh, let me move it and get the dog all riled up again, it was let's take the shots, and that's an easy,
Mm-hmm.
not so much. I know now that you're going to say, oh, that's just a cloning tool or something. But, there are times when, the backpack that all of his stuff was in was kind of in the way. And I could now use the AI tools to remove that much quicker.
Yep.
That's all. Just though, and those are those things where I think ethically there's no issue with that. But yeah, you and I have had these conversations till we were blue in the face so long of, we know, we used to do a lot more headshot business, and you're seeing websites pop up that's like, send a picture in and we'll create a headshot. An
Mm-hmm.
article just came out in LinkedIn that talked about like companies hire more off AI generated thumbnails of people than actual headshots being done,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, what does that mean? And the consensus was it really means nothing. It's just what people are starting to get conditioned to. Is it a good thing? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think they're better? No. Do they not look? It's the whole issue, right? Of Instagram. People you meet don't look like their Instagram.
Yep.
You're like, that's not you.
That's not you.
You've really put on some weight since yesterday, or your skin's not that smooth.
Yep.
But so
No, I think we're just in, like I said, I'm gonna say it again, same thing I said last week. Like, learn how to embrace it rather than shun it, because like you said, the headshot business is changing. That's one part of photography. Fashion photography is changing. Commercial photography is changing. You either ride with it or
yeah,
you get off the wave. I mean, it's just like
yeah.
you're going to be left
I think what
behind.
really changed my mind is, and this isn't photography, was a friend of ours that, he is in the highest echelons of app development and code writing.
Hmm.
And I remember you said, I can't believe here's what he said, and it was the fact that he said, either my job goes away or I learn how to use AI to do my job better.
Yep.
And now he's going, guess what? I don't need three code writers to help me. I can do it all myself. I just have to learn how to tell chat how to
Yep.
write the code for me. So, and he's become an expert. He's becoming an expert in doing that. And he's already an expert in the field.
Yep.
So,
So I think
same
that's
thing
that's
with
the way.
photography. You can't run from it because we can't stop it.
No. And I think that's the way you and I have reset our brain to say, okay, let's see what we can do and how we can make money doing that. So
Yep.
if you're, a professional photographer, all I want to say is give you encouragement to say, don't be scared of it. I think you can be worried about it, but don't be scared, right? Worried about, am I going to have to do something new?
Yeah.
But you know what, in life, that's the way it always is. And I just want to encourage everybody to say, hey, keep learning, right? That's one of our big, mantras that we always say is always be learning, right? Always be learning. Don't be lazy, always be learning. And
So, yes,
it's one of those facts.
good segue. So speaking of learning, a couple things I've been doing this week, and you and I use a lot of action files. I've been working on some new actions, kind of packaging up some actions I use all the time, um, that we're going to make available soon, but that's not what I want to talk about. Um, I'm also working on some videos right now for Luminar Neo. And that's a product I use all the time. Is it my standalone editor? No.
No,
But we know people that is their
we do.
standalone editor. And it actually it's a very powerful editor. It works well. I think if you're new to intermediate, man, it's a great place to start. Incredible. But I use it a lot for finishing, is how I like to say it. So I'll talk about that in the videos that we have coming up that I'm working on. But if you're not familiar with it, man, stay tuned. Hopefully by next week early, you're going to see some videos and I'll be showing some of those features and how I like to use it and things like that.
It's a
So
really great product. I mean, like you said, you use it as your, I would say even seasoning, right? Like
I like that phrase.
you're seasoning your recipe, and then you put your finishing sauce on it. It's like it adds the kiss of delight to the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. For the longest time, my Nick filters were kind of my,
Same,
my
yeah, same.
seasoning and it shifted over. I think Luminar's been very aggressive and they've done some great things. The other one that I really like is Exposure. It used to be originally called Alien Skin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another one that I think it's got its own. It's not so much as like the seasoning that Neo is. It's really how do I achieve a look?
Yep.
How do I want it to simulate older styles of film? Things that you're trying to get quickly. And these are all things you can do in Photoshop, but you know what? We're smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, totally.
and they're very cost effective, both those products, right? So there's days where I wished I could get away from Adobe, but I can't.
Yeah,
So
but maybe soon. You never.
maybe soon, we'll see, but kind of hard to.
Yeah, so those are the big things I think right now is just, the whole we keep talking about it, but the whole software AI, there's a lot of new tools coming out there.
Yeah. And what's scary, it can make people appear to be better than they are
Hmm.
because it does a lot of it for you.
It
Just like
does.
the cell phone does, right? If we want to be scared of anything, we ought to be scared of the cell phone, because that's what's killing traditional photography right
Yeah.
now, I think, is the cell phone and social media.
It's
But
it's pretty
I
pretty
can't stop
crazy.
that.
It's pretty crazy on the cell phone. On the newest Apple operating system, 18, for the cell phone, if you're using one of the newer phones, like their generative AI is so fast and so good. Like all you do is you just take your finger and you swipe over. You don't even have to be accurate. Swipe over the thing. If there's a garbage bag sitting on the right side of the person, it's gone like that. Like
Yeah.
so fast, and it does a great job. So you're finding, these AI tools trickling down to the cell phone,
Yep.
and the quality on the cell phone, like it shoots a 48 megapixel raw file
Hmm.
on my cell phone.
Yep. And we can, again, this is going to inflame people because we can have the whole conversation. We understand it's not the same as a 48 megapixel
No,
file out of my Z8, but it's not the same thing.
but you know what? I
But
have 48 megapixels in my pocket versus
exactly,
58
no.
in my pocket.
But for the average person, we grew up with a shoebox full of 4x6 pictures. Your phone can take better than a 4x6, picture that we used
Mhm.
to have as, pictures, well, growing up. So nah, it's all good. It's all.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of new things, right? I know we briefly talked about it. I think it was on last week's live. Talked about how odd it was that these product introductions are happening this late in the year. Did
Oh,
you
there's
see that
so many.
Sony on I think the 19th of November and they said what they're introducing. Usually they hold it out and they did it for a specific reason, but they're introducing their A1 Mark II, which is their, high end portrait camera, basically like super high megapixel. Great. They're A1. We played with it for
When
quite a
it first
while.
came out, and we
Really
both,
liked it.
this is almost cheating. The focus system's amazing
It
in
was
that.
great. Like it was one of the best mirrorless cameras I've used, right? It was very, very good. Very, very expensive, but very good. So I'm excited to see that. But what I heard that they did is so the Canon R1, which is like the pro sports body, is just either being introduced or just introduced. And so they were like, okay, we're gonna jump on that and introduce ours the same day. Like a big splash. And so but yeah, this is really late in the year for companies introducing stuff. So that to me kind of shows me there's a little bit of anxiousness for these camera companies of selling as much product as they can and getting
Yeah,
people
exactly.
excited about it.
Yeah.
Because camera sales have dropped pretty dramatically.
And a lot of new lenses right now.
A lot.
So I'm very interested in whether it's something happening in our industry or if it's just happening, from marketing. But like that Viltrox company have like kind of come out of nowhere. I know they've
Yes.
been around for a long time, but like you're just seeing people all over shooting with those lenses and talking them up really well. And again, you take it with a grain of salt, when somebody's talking up a product, just like when we talk up a product, right? But it's sure sounding like it's a pretty decent.
No, they're interesting because they're budget priced, most of them, but they make some cinema lenses too.
Yeah.
And the stuff that they're coming out with, like we know a few people that have started using those, Eli Infante and Francisco, and they really, and I trust their opinion, right? They're great photographers.
Mhm.
They they really like them a lot, which
Yep.
is pretty surprising that this company, like you say, which seems to be new on the doorstep of photography,
Yep.
has come on the scene gangbusters. But I think
So
they're very
Viltrox, you
expensive.
can send us some lenses and we'll play with them. But
Yeah,
kind of happy with my Nikon lenses these days.
I know. That's the problem. I love my Nikon lenses.
Yeah.
I really, really love my lenses.
Yeah.
And my Z8 really loves my Nikon 85.
Yeah. That lens is hard to take off.
Yep.
So, all right.
Hey,
Well, I
so
think
so
we've rambled on for 22 minutes and
yeah. But I do want to know if anybody has anything on their Christmas wish list. Like you can put it in the comments.
yeah,
But
we used to always do a show where we'd make suggestions of some ideas. So maybe
yeah,
we'll do that coming
we'll
up in the
do a
next
little
couple
something
of
like that.
weeks. And stuff that you can, give to your spouse and say, or significant other and say, this is what I'd kind of like for Christmas.
Or your favorite chopstick guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody should buy me. I've been looking at the little portable smoke machines for so long and they're going to go on sale. They're already that Yolanzi or whatever the brand is. I just
Yep.
saw they're having a Black Friday sale, but I'd like to pick up one of those little
That's
things.
another good question I have for everybody. So if you're looking for a stocking stuff or on your Christmas wish list, I'd love to hear what that is.
Yep.
Because I always say, oh, I didn't even think of that. That's a good one to ask for.
Totally.
But if you have one of those little smoke machines, not the big old fashioned, hazers, but like this little handheld smoke thingies, if you have one of those, put your comments and how you feel about it in the
Yeah.
comment section
'Cause
here.
we've
We'd love
heard some of
to.
our friends right on. She loves hers. She made a little video for me and sent
Yep.
it, showed it how well it worked. So that's why I've kind of been like, looks much better than my can of aerosol atmosphere.
Yeah.
So
Which you have cans with you all the time. And how many times have you used it?
I know and that's why I just
So maybe
forget.
that's the thing. How many times would you use your smoke machine?
Hey, don't go down that road. How many backpacks do you have?
Okay, that's good enough. All right, everybody. Until next time. Oh, don't forget though, if you are interested in going to any of those 3 workshops that we have coming up, hit up
Yeah.
our website, panopticchopsticks.com, and they're all there. Just go to the front page. You'll scroll down, see a picture of a camera with kind of a rotating slideshow of the workshops. Click on that, and
Yep.
away you go. We'd love to have you join us if you're in the local California area. Last chance for this year.
Hey,
Until next time,
yep.
don't forget,
Don't be
don't be
lazy.
lazy. See you, everybody.